Hello, I'm Dr. Greg Gordon, and welcome to your child's 6-month checkup. There are 4 topics I want to cover today: development, sleep, medications, and feeding. 6-month development. By 6 months, children should be able to roll over, turn to noise or voice, track an object or person 180 degrees, bring their chest by pushing up with their arms, and support their own weight on their legs. 6-month sleep. 6-month-olds should be sleeping through the night. And while my early definition of sleeping through the night is just a 6 or 8 hour stretch, most 6-month-olds are sleeping longer than that. It is important to keep your good sleeper that children learn to fall asleep on their own. And by 6 months, I would certainly hope that your child has fallen asleep on their own. In the first couple months, I'm certainly okay if children are nursed to sleep or rocked to sleep, but at this age, they need to be able to fall asleep on their own. And lastly, the controversial crying it out. Crying it out is a technique to teach children to fall asleep on their own. For healthy children who have not yet learned to sleep through the night, I'm okay to cry it out after 6 months of age. Don't attempt to cry it out unless both parents are fully committed to it. Please see my website or my book for more information. 6-month medications. There are 2 main medications that are approved for children 6 months and up. The first is sunscreen. Don't worry if you've already applied sunscreen to your child, as sunscreen is clearly safer than sunburns. The second one is ibuprofen. Ibuprofen, commonly going by brand names of Advil or Motrin, is our family's preferred way to address fevers and aches. For a couple reasons. One is it's quick, and secondly it lasts longer. Acetaminophen or Tylenol usually lasts 4 to 6 hours versus ibuprofen, which lasts 6 to 8 hours. Shown now is a dosing table that's available on my website and in my book. If you look at standard weight ranges, the doses of the ibuprofen and acetaminophen are the same. The critical thing is to notice the concentration of the ibuprofen, which is the 100 milligrams per 5 milliliters. That is commonly referred to as the children's dose. There is an infant concentration that's about twice as concentrated. I find it's much simpler for both pediatrician and family if they buy the children's dose, so the doses are pretty much the same, and so you're not trying to remember 2 different doses and which dose is which medicine for each of their kids. 6-month feeding. 6-month-olds come to our office with a huge variation in their feeding experiences. Some children have been taking solid foods for 2 months, and some have yet to start. Either way, the 6 to 9 month period is a huge period of transition for solid foods. By 9 months, children in the Gordon house will eat things like scrambled eggs, black beans and rice, quarters of grapes, pasta, excessively steamed broccoli, and yogurt. Most mothers, when I tell them that at the 6-month checkup, look shocked and afraid. So what can you feed a 6-month-old? Children that have already had some stage 1 feedings are ready for stage 2 foods. These are just a little coarser, soft table foods. So if you're having guacamole, mashed potatoes, or applesauce, it's certainly acceptable to include your 6-month-old in these types of foods. What I call 2 big foods. These are things really for the child to chew on or teeth on. And a good example of that is a half or a quarter of an apple, toasted half of a bagel. And this is great if your other 2 kids are having a bagel for breakfast, to let your 6-month-old just to kind of chew on a large piece of a bagel. Another good example is a large carrot. And finally, mesh feeders. And these I kind of compare to pacifiers with like a fishnet on the end of them. And you can load those with a lot of soft fruits, and children can kind of suck the fruit out. Kind of gross, but kind of cool at the same. So bananas are kind of the classic to put in there. I like watermelon, cantaloupe, Strawberries all work well in mesh feeders. So between 6 to 9 months, it's okay to go ahead and start pick up foods like Cheerios and Puffs. And usually most kids are ready for that about 7 to 8 months of age. You could probably get a 6-month-old to eat them, but most 6-month-olds don't have the manual dexterity to pick them up and put them in their mouths yet. I would try your child on sippy cups between 6 to 9 months, trying to introduce them sooner than later. And then the other big thing, between 6 to 9 months, most children's milk intake stays about the same. So after 9 months, as children get better at eating food or solid foods and get more efficient, often the milk intake drops. But at this stage, solid feedings are just kind of in addition to the milk they're already drinking. And that'll just about do us for today. If you have any further questions, please see my website, GregoryGordonMD.com.